My name is Marcus Schefer. This is MR Guitar Services. This is my repair shop. I do some minor custom building, or I should say custom assembly. But a lot of repairs, electric, acoustic, bass. Been touring for many, many years, and decided it was time to just open my own shop and do guitars for everybody. Well, I started with Roger Fisher from Heart, the original guitar player. He wrote all the cool songs like Barracuda and Magic Man, all that good stuff. He was the first guy I teched for, and the first guy that kind of made me realize that this could be a career. I got sidelined into sales, marketing, and artist relations with a bunch of companies for a bunch of years. EMG Pickups, ESP Guitars, VHT Amps, a couple other companies. Got back into the tech side of things and started touring again. And Ray Cyrus had a rock band for a while. A friend of mine was playing guitar, needed a tech, so I teched for those guys for a little bit. Teenage girl group called Cherry Bomb, Buckcherry as well. Great rock band, a lot of fun, really cool guitar collection that Keith Nelson had. Tech for Steel Panther, Five Finger Death Punch, and Everclear.
How on earth did you get into that world in the first place?
Just by being the kid that always took my toys apart, put them back together. Started playing music. I was the guy that everyone brought their guitars to, because we're all a bunch of poor kids. We couldn't afford to take our guitars to guys like Mike Lowell. I mean, he was the top dog in the area, you know, rest in peace. Well, we couldn't afford him. So I just started doing it on my own. Worked in a few music shops like Band-Aid Music back in Lynnwood. That was pretty much where I got my start repairing guitars. Kind of tripped my way into it, you know. I sold a guitar to Roger Fisher. I worked on it for him. He invited me out to his place to audition for his band, and I was nowhere near good enough of a guitar player. And he said that to me. He says, you know, you're not a great guitar player, but you're a great tech. Maybe you want to be my tech instead. And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's try that. That sales, marketing, and artist relations gig for all those high-profile companies like EMG, ESP. You get to meet everybody. Willie Nelson, Eddie Van Halen, Metallica. I mean, you name it. I've met all of them and worked with a lot of those guys. I was the guy that gave out free stuff, and everybody loves the guy that gives out free stuff. And when the economy tanked in 2009 and the housing market went to crap, everybody that was in my position, sales, marketing, artist relations, was getting downsized right out of jobs. And that was when Ray Cyrus was going out with his rock band called Brother Clyde. And my buddy was playing guitar and said, hey, I need a tech. And I said, I need a job. So it just kind of happened. And then from there, you just meet more people and you get hired for other gigs. And people say, oh, it's not who you know. That's BS. It is who you know. You have to make those connections. You have to be putting yourself out there, meeting people and showing your product, which in this case is, you know, the work you can do on a guitar. If you can take a $99 guitar and make it play like a $2,000 or $3,000 custom shop guitar, that's good. And letting people know that by having them putting your guitar into their hands, that's kind of how it goes. There's a lot of best parts, you know. Putting on a show, and when you see, you know, 30, 40,000 people putting their lighters in the air with their cell phone lights in the air, you know, I helped make that happen. You know, I did this much of it, but I helped my part and did, you know, my part on the team to help make that moment happen. You know, getting paid to travel the world and see all the places you grew up wanting to go to. Sofia, Bulgaria. Who plays concerts in Sofia, Bulgaria, you know? Japan, New Zealand, Australia, all over the United States, Canada, Central, South America. Seeing parts of the world, meeting people over there. The feeling you get from that, even as a tech, even though I'm not the guy up there playing on stage, I'm still putting that show on. And I'm an integral part of that show, because if those guitars are out of tune, that's my fault. When they're in tune and my guitar player sounds great, you're welcome. I made that happen, you know.
What are the things that make it difficult or a grind?
12 to 16-hour days on your feet, out in the extreme heat of say the summertime in the Midwest, and you're out there for 12 hours all day in that heat, making sure that those guitars that are now soaking up all that moisture and going out of tune stay in tune for the show. And then the traveling. When you fly from, say, Seattle to New York to LA to Australia to New Zealand, that's a long set of travel days. When you travel for a living, you get in a groove. You start to move in a different way through airports because you got things to do. You got to go set up a show. I don't got time to screw around. Catering. Sometimes the food's great. Sometimes the food is not very good. There's good and bad with everything. Sometimes the people you work with are amazing. Sometimes they're not. You meet every kind of person out there working on different crews. Sometimes you have an amazing crew like my Everclear crew. Probably the best crew I've ever worked with. Great bunch of guys. All of us were on the same page. Everybody's shooting in the same direction. There was no bickering, no arguing, no rivalry. Just a brotherhood, and it was amazing. With bigger bands, sometimes you get personalities that can be difficult to deal with on crews as well as in bands. So dealing with sometimes just other people can be a challenge as well. Everybody thinks it's like this magical Taj Mahal of this amazing rich person's palace. No, it's a funky locker room in a hockey arena. It's a lot of road cases, a lot of hard work, a lot of people that haven't slept and are working on just pure caffeine. It's not really the Hollywood glamorous, thing that everyone thinks it is. It's not all a giant party. A lot of the crews I've been on have been sober. A lot of the bands I worked with have been sober. Those days of partying like metal bands did in the 80s, that I think only the country bands do that nowadays. I don't see a lot of the rock and roll guys are doing that. I mean, there's a few guys that will still do partying, whatever drugs, kids, plug your ears. And I don't think people necessarily need to see what's going on backstage. It kind of takes away some of the mystique and the magic of a show. To see some guy back there filling up pyro cans that are just going to go boom later. No one wants to see that. They just want to see the flash and the fire. I think that's the thing that people forget about. Everybody that's doing that job on that stage or anywhere around it, we're all just people. Next is retirement from touring, which I just did last weekend. I am now off the road. I want to be at home for a while, enjoy my family, sleep in my own bed, and work in my shop. I want to work here, and I want to work on guitars for everybody. Every guitar out there, especially for beginners, because as a beginner, you don't know what feels good yet. You don't know how a guitar should play. And a lot of times it's very discouraging if your guitar plays like crap. Getting your guitar set up and properly tuned up and in its maximum playing condition is an art into itself. And when you have your guitar done properly, it can be a magical experience. You now want to play it more. It wants to be in your hands all the time. And my whole goal is to just have more people playing, be more motivated to create music, buy more guitars and bring them back to me so I can keep working.
Yeah. I mean, let's be clear. This is going to get weird later.